What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you? Welcome to the show. It is Sunday. We are live here on the Wrestling Wire. And, folks, let me tell you something. What a week it's been in professional wrestling. Um, Not just in the pros on the TV, but also in the independent scene. Um, I'm not probably going to be my normal hyped up, opinionated. Well, no, I'm still going to be opinionated. But I'm just not going to be as energetic as I normally am. It's been a long weekend for your boy. Worked a couple of shows this weekend, and yeah, that's kind of how it goes. So, either way, once again, welcome to the show. We're going to talk, man, because wrestling this week has been fantastic. We have been seeing so much good stuff between WWE and even some decent stuff on AEW. Now, with that being said, AEW, in my opinion, noticed I said in my opinion, had the opportunity to do something a little bit different and capitalize on a pretty big issue that occurred and turn a work into a shoot, as well as be able to capitalize on that. And why in God's name they didn't is kind of beyond me. I understand that, yeah, you need to kind of be easy and get the heat of the moment cooled off. But at the same time, we're all adults and we all want to make money. So, with that being said, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you capitalize and make money? You had a pre recorded statement from Tony Khan. And why was it pre recorded? Why didn't he address the crowd live? I think that's half the reason it got such a piss poor reaction was because he wasn't live. Whereas if he was live, he'd have been able to do a little bit more and say a little bit more and maybe react with the crowd, and they would have been happy about, well, they might not have been happy about what was saying, but they would have at least been able to be they would have been able to react, and then he would have been able to feed off of them and react back to them. Not everything is about just business. You can switch it up and make it conform to what you want it to. You can always change the narrative. And I just don't know if the guy has what it takes to change the narrative. Don't at me with the control your narrative thing, because that ain't what I'm talking about. That's a whole nother conundrum there. Uh, but as far as it goes, man, the dude definitely could have done more with it instead of just coming out and saying, well, I've stripped everybody. You could have just said suspended and not stripped them of the titles. And then immediately crowning new trios champions. The way, if it was me, you may have already heard this on Peaches and Power Bombs or Tailgate Party or whichever one I helped out with Majestic Marie earlier this week. What I would have done would have been just come out and say they're suspended and roll on with the show. Later on that night, have some figures dressed in all black, covered up, interfere in something or trash something backstage, and do it again and again. And, then you have them really interfere with stuff in the ring and take over the show from the back. And it would make it look like, they're revolting against the company decision of suspension. And that would have kept the interest and the fire hot on them. I believe with what they did this week will show you in the ratings in the next couple of weeks. I really think the ratings are going to slip based on this. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. But when your niche market and your current ratings are anywhere from the 800 to the 1.2 million market on Wednesday's Dynamite, that's the average runnings there. When that's your average viewings, yet you get Sports Illustrated's attention, which is read by tens of millions of people on a daily. When you garner that type of attention, what comes next? You could just as easily have gotten 3 million if that uptick made sense and you could have worked it into a storyline. Will they work into a storyline in the future? Yeah, but the heat will be gone. So if the heat's gone, who cares at that point? It's one of those things where why would people bother tuning in if there's nothing of interest or merit to follow the show along? You see TV shows get canceled all the time for less than that. Even shows that were halfway interesting have been canceled just because they didn't bring the attention that people thought they would bring. The show called Jericho, for a prime example, had Skeet Ehrlich in it. Man, I thought that show was badass. I was like, dude, I can't wait for this. Got canceled in the middle of the second season. It was ridiculous. Um, it was a good show. But as far as it goes, y'all, if you got anything that you want to add, be sure you comment in. As always, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification, and if you're using YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, retweet it, follow it, subscribe there, whatever you got, man. Because we go live several times a week. At this point, sometimes we're live from wrestling shows, and we give you guys some action for free. You never know when that's going to happen again. I know when it's going to happen again, but you don't. So it's just better to stay tuned. Uh, Either way, I hope everybody out there is doing great. It's kind of a humid day out there, uh, unfortunately, because I was like, why in the world is it so damn humid when it was just raining? It should have been nice and cool, but it wasn't cool at all. I was not, I wasn't feeling it. I just came in from outside and it is humid and hot. That shit draws it out of me, man. But so, folks, we gonna catch up on Monday Night Raw. All right, we're gonna see what happened this past week on Monday night. It was a great show. The the main event, Lashley versus the Miz in a steel cage for the U.S. title. Like, thank God they're finally putting the mid card titles on a pedestal where they belong. I said it for a long time. I've been saying it for the last several months that I hope they would unify the titles. I hope that they would do way more and bring stuff up, uh, and they would add those shows up and start bringing the titles higher up on the card for the individual shows. Make those the main focus of Raw and the SmackDown and even NXT. Make those the main staples of those individual shows, and save your main event for like a rare occasion. You bring in the WWE's Universal Champion on a rare occasion and have a rare title defense on TV because you're going to pop ratings by putting him on TV when the crowd is already watching at 2 million plus and they are consistently hitting that mark. Now they're sitting right there at 2 million just about every show for 2 nights a week. When you've already got that, when you turn it up a notch and you bring out the champ on a Monday or a Friday to defend, it's now an even bigger deal than you thought it was. So that's just one of those ways that I think about it. What's happening, Cody Gibbs? How you doing, sir? Fantastic photographer right here, man. Excellent asset if you're looking for a photographer. Seen him work a couple wrestling shows. The dude is as legit as they come. Uh, but you know, the rest of Monday Night Raw, it to me it had its hits and misses. The Judgment Day segment with Dominic aligning with the Judgment Day, Ray Charles could have seen that coming. We just didn't know when it would happen. Cool thing is the way they're selling it and the way they're moving that storyline forward. Is Dominic going to be, a breakout star? I don't know. You know who's getting the best reaction out of this is Rhea Ripley, though. Most time on the microphone, most time on screen. That's what's up. Even without being in that many matches, she's still getting the most clout out of this. Uh, the whole situation was badass. Um, the return of the monster among men. Braun Strowman has come back. He interrupted and ruined the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. So I don't know how they're going to fix that going into the next. What are they going to do? Have another one of these? I would have waited till after the match ended and we had a definitive winner, and then let Braun go out there and just wreck everybody. That would have been fun. It was still entertaining. Good to see Braun back. I hope they do good stuff with him. Um, I don't want to see a comedic character out of him. I want to see a vile, nasty big man. That's what I want to see here. I'm hopeful that they do something similar with Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar returns, if Brock Lesnar returns. Uh, the current Cowboy Brock, being smart ass and snarky, I like that. And that works too because he's still a badass. Um, but either way, it was a pretty good matchup too, up until the point where Braun came out. I was just like, I really would have figured that they would have given us a winner. But now, like I say, that gives us something, what's next? We got to tune in. They're turning the show into must see. You got to stick with it. You got to stay on it to try to keep up with all the information. Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah defeated Nikki ASH and Dewdrop. First off, where I get lost is actually after this. The match itself wasn't bad. You got to see some good strength out of Raquel, and that's going to do well for her. Where I get lost is actually after this match. You see Nikki ASH throw the mask, but then she was wearing it again on Tuesday. You see what I'm getting at here? Do you see what I'm getting at here? Like, why? Why would you do that? Why would you throw the mask away on Monday, but wear it again on Tuesday? Was the timeline messed up? I'm kind of confused by that. Um, then you had Kevin Owens and Austin Theory came out and got into it. Ended up being let's see here. KO finally won the match. And that was another really good matchup. People underestimate Kevin Owens and give him way less credit than he deserves. And with when it comes to KO himself, I'm gonna tell you one thing. He's one of my favorites on the main roster. He is a great wrestler. He's a good brawler. And that is, a lot of people don't believe that, but that is my style of wrestling. I prefer smash mouth, beat the brakes off your opponent wrestling. The flippy stuff doesn't do that much for me. I love a good technical match as well, but stuff like Sheamus versus Gunther at Clash was beautiful. That's money to me. Like I say, everybody's got their different flavor for wrestling, and there's more than 31 flavors out there. That's mine. That Smash Mouth style is badass. But like I say, KO went over on Theory, and it was a good matchup. Oh, and we can actually now call him Austin Theory. We don't have to just call him Theory. So that's pretty cool too. He's getting his name back. Damage Control comes out talking trash. Bianca Belair interrupts him. Okay, we get where this is going. We know we're getting Bayley versus Bianca. Are they going to have Bianca lose to somebody who has not had that many singles matches in the last year? Make it make sense. Cody Gibbs said it right here, guys. This man said it, and he's 100% right. Inconsistency kills wrestling. All day, every day. 100% agree. It kills me, y'all. It kills me. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, man. Then we had Damian Priest defeating Rey Mysterio. Of course, there's going to be interference. It's Judgment Day. They're a heel faction. Duh. You got to do stuff to get booed. That's your job as a heel for anybody who doesn't understand how a heel works. Um, it's the fact that he interfered on the 619. I would have figured a different spot, but okay. So stopped him for that. Priest ended up hitting the victory with South of Heaven. That is that's not really too crazy of a move, but at the same time, because of Priest's size, it looks legit and it works really well. As I mentioned earlier, Lashley defeated The Miz in a steel cage as your main event for the night. Man, then Dexter Loomis comes out. Uh, he ended up hitting a one arm triangle or in an arm triangle rather, and he put him to sleep. That's good booking and storytelling. They are keeping this going. Sorry, folks. Like I said, it's been a long weekend. Um, I was switching to AEW. That's why I yawned. You're right. Let's see here. AEW as of this week. Let's see here. I remember watching the show, but truth be told, just another day. Uh, when it when it came up and Tony Khan made the announcement, um, forced to vacate the world title and the world trios title. Doing a tournament, like I said, anybody could have called that, but it's better than just doing a scramble match or something, I guess. And that scramble match may have been more entertaining though, but trying to put all those personalities in one match for the one thing, a little bit harder. Maybe a scramble elimination style that might have been more fun. But yet again, you're talking about a long match, and all those different personalities, all those different people, and all those different people got to protect their spot on the card. MJF comes out to the ring wearing a Buffalo Bills jersey. He had the crowd on his side, and then of course flipped it right on him. Started his trash talk after Moxley comes out. It's like, here we go. They talk their stuff. MJF's going to get the cash in eventually, but it is what it is. I wonder if he's going to cash in right after somebody wins that title. I wonder if that's how they'll do that. Is that how that's allowed to happen? I don't know how the casino chip thing works. It has potential, but with AEW overbooking shows, it's hard to tell what they're going to do. Death Triangle versus the Best Friends. Death Triangle won the World Trios Championship. Not a bad match, not my style, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Penelope Ford versus Tony Storm. I like Penelope Ford. I like Tony Storm. Match was okay, but uh, you know, it's weird to me how it feels like they're giving the crowd what they want and they're putting the titles on the people that they want, but the reaction they're getting from it is lackluster. I don't understand it. I noticed it with Thunder Rosa. I've noticed it with now Tony Storm. You didn't have that with Britt Baker. That reaction stayed with Britt Baker the whole time. She was always getting great reactions. Tony Storm didn't get a good reaction out of this. I don't know how that. I don't know what they're doing that's causing that to happen. The Acclaim come out and they start talking their stuff. Swerve comes out. We got the Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory, and that's going to be at the New York show. I forget what they've called it, but they got some name for it. Um, isn't that happening at like Arthur Ashe Stadium? I don't remember what it's called. Battle for New York, maybe they're calling it. Who knows? TNT champion Wardlow versus Tony Nese. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna buy Tony Nese even deserving a shot. Number one. Number two, I'm not gonna buy you know him going that him going under that quickly. I get you're booking Wardlow like that, but unless you're booking him to run towards the world title, you might want to slow down and give the guys some decent matches. Just my opinion. We've seen Goldberg in the past. He's getting a Wardlow chant out of this, which is basically a Goldberg chant. It's like, man, I don't know if that's going to work as good. I don't buy it. There's a lot of things that they could do, but what are they going to do becomes where we're at with this. Let's see here. The Dynamite wild card entry for the Grand Slam of Champions tournament. Oh, that's what it's called, like Grand Slam or something in New York. I guess they're trying to play off the baseball connection for New York. I don't know. You had Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Adam Page. Adam Page was 1-0-1 with Bryan Danielson up to this point. One win, no losses, and one draw because they had that time limit draw. Great matchup. I really wish we had got a definitive winner, but it is what it is. Now, it was cool to finally see Bryan get ahead in this. I can't figure out if they're going to go, if they're trying to build it like Bryan versus Jericho for the title. I can dig that. Bryan versus Mox for the title, not as hot, not as hot. But Bryan versus Jericho, I like. I think that one. I think that would be the best way to go about this. I think it would be what's best for them to try to put the title on somebody that could give some marketability to it. Jericho, marketable. Moxley's marketable too. Punk's not reliable because he can't stop being hurt. It sucks. But the dude's had what, 90 days of a title reign? No defenses? Maybe. Was there one defense in there? Or was there any? I don't think there was any. Just weird how the whole thing went down. But either way, Daniel Bryan got him in the end, and Daniel Bryan's moving on. Stokely Hathaway come out, talked his trash. Ring of Honor Pure Championship match. This was the main event, and this was actually a fantastic matchup. Young Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia. These guys tore it up. I really did enjoy this match. Not my style, but a damn fine matchup. I know people don't get that. Just because you don't like the flippy floppy or the high flying stuff doesn't mean you can deny, matchups like this. This one is exactly the case for that. Wheeler Yuta is a hell of a worker. Daniel Garcia winning it with whatever dragon leg lock or whatever they called it. Fantastic. So great match with a submission win. That's that stuff I like to see. And Daniel Bryan, after the match, Daniel Bryan comes out to the ring. And Danielson actually put the belt on Garcia's waist. And the respect was shown amongst all of them. That's great. Then you got Jericho being heated that Garcia was accepting it from Bryan. So, after that, we're going to talk about SmackDown. But that wasn't a bad matchup at all, in my opinion. So, SmackDown, I am a little bit behind on watching the entire thing. I'm not going to deny that. So, I'm going to give you some cliff notes of things that I know about, and we're just going to have to go from there. Imperium defeating the Brawling Brutes in a brutal 6-man tag match. I'm liking what they're doing with this. They're building it faction versus faction, and they're not big factions. The coolest thing is the Bloodline has been running for. They're not one of the longest running factions, but they've been running a right good while, right? So the way that they're booking them, and the way that they're not putting them on TV 24/7, they're not overbooking them. I feel like the Bloodline is the right way to do a faction if you're not doing something huge like NWO. NWO takeover style. When it was the Bucks and the Elite and the Club and the Elite Bullet Club, all this or the Undisputed Bullet Club Elite or Undisputed Elite Bullet Club, I don't know. All that. When you had all that going on, it was like you couldn't tell what was what, who was who, and where people were. It was just too many lines crossing. You seen that meme with the dude from The Office, and he's standing next to the board, and there's like 95 pieces of string and a bunch of pictures and pins on the wall. That's what it feels like when I try to watch AEW shit. But anyway, Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes, and they got them. Drew McIntyre whooped Solo Sikoa's ass with a steel chair. Sami Zayn comes out. It's like, man, Sammy gets knocked out of it. Then Drew challenges Solo. I know we're gonna get that match later on in the night, so all about it. Um, Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah defeated Toxic Attraction. Weren't they just injured? Like, why? Why is this going on now? I don't. It's inconsistent, and it doesn't sit well with me. I'm trying to figure out how that works. Did the injury play a role in the matchup? I don't know. I just don't understand why they would bring him in to injure him out and keep switching and keep switching and keep switching. It's not lining up. Damn, I need to be more energetic when I do these shows. I can tell you all that from here. Let's see. Ronda Rousey comes out, destroys everyone to win a women's title match against Liv at Extreme Rules. You ready for this? They're going to have an Extreme Rules matchup, and it's going to make sense that Liv beats her with that. It's going to make sense that Liv can win a gimmick match against Ronda Rousey. Liv versus Ronda straight up one-on-one, no gimmicks. Very hard to believe. Liv swinging a kendo stick, Liv swinging a steel chair, Liv putting Ronda through a table, Liv coming off the ladder and splashing her. All logical, all makes sense. Let's go. I'm ready for that one. I'm excited. The Street Profits, together with Hit Row, defeated Los Lotharios and the Maximum Male Models in an 8-man tag match. Yet again, not a big fan of the multi-man, multi-team, multi-person matches, but at this point, it makes sense in the story to go this route. But at the same time, eventually they're going to have to go up against each other going after titles. It's the only thing that makes sense. Oh, boy. Braun Strowman comes out and absolutely melees the Alpha Academy. Really? So now you got one taking on two. Former tag team champions getting beat by one guy. That doesn't look good for your tag division. That doesn't look good for that tag team. I don't understand it, man. It's good to build him. You don't want to build somebody at the expense of others that you need as well. Drew McIntyre versus Solo Sikoa ended in no contest. When Karrion Kross come out, got involved. It looks like so the Scottish Warrior was locked in the cross jacket and went to sleep as SmackDown goes off the air. So now we're left with all these more questions. What's next for this? What direction is this going? We getting Karrion Kross versus Drew McIntyre? Cool. Make it happen without anything being detrimental to either person's career, and I'm sure it'll be fine. Catching up on Rampage. See here. Sammy Guevara or Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin. Let's see. Sammy powerbombed Darby on his skateboard, finished him off with the GTH for the pin. Okay. Yet again, run-ins and interference. Common practice for this show. Samoa Joe come out to the ring. Let's see here. Looks like we're going to get Josh Woods versus Samoa Joe coming up in New York. That's the way it come out to me. I could be wrong, but it just feels to me like we're going to get Josh Woods versus Samoa Joe for the ROH TV title. Because because Dynamite and Rampage needed so many more title belts because they don't have enough to defend them on TV every week. We got to add a whole nother company's straps to the fold. Give me a freaking break. Some of the stuff that happens at Rampage and Dynamite, man, it just irritates me. Yeah, maybe it's because I'm an younger person. I don't know. Maybe it's because it doesn't feel like it means that much. It kind of makes me feel like the belts don't mean as much when there's one for every person there. What are we going to do next? Look at it. You got women's big titles. You're going to come up with a ladies Intercontinental and a ladies US championship on Monday Night Raw. How dumb would that be? A mid-card title for your women. The roster's not that big. Neither's AEW's roster. So when you bring the women into it, also, where's the women's Ring of Honor title at? Isn't that still important? Isn't that still a thing? Make it make sense, please. Madison Rayne versus Serena Deeb. I can't wait to go back and watch this in its entirety. Like I say, caught some clips, caught some cliff notes. I'm excited to see this because I'm a firm believer Serena Deeb should have been the one to hold the strap instead of Tony Storm. Personal opinion. We all have those, right? So, it's just how I feel about it. See, Powerhouse Hobbs talks about Ricky Starks. Get in the ring and fight it out some more. That's all I got to say about that one. Main event for Rampage is a Ring of Honor World Title match. Just scrap the AEW thing and turn it all into Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor with more money. Yay. I'm down. Let's do that. I think it'd be... I don't know if that would do anything or not. But, yeah, Claudio Castagnoli versus Dax Harwood. A tag team wrestler going for his singles heavyweight title. All right, then. For what I understand, this was a great match. I, once again, caught clips. Need to go back and watch the whole thing. Probably do that later today. Or I'll do it tomorrow before Monday Night Raw. Let's see here. Of course, Claudio retains. Kind of makes me feel like, what are they going to do with this? Where are they going to go with it? What's the direction? that may be one of the allures to AEW. Be it Rampage, Dynamite. You can't tell what they're doing. Now, can we not tell what they're doing because we don't know? Or can we not tell what they're doing because maybe they don't know and they're flying by the seat of their pants every week? Yet again, I'm not a journalist, folks. I am not a writer, not a columnist. I'm just a guy with a thought and an opinion. That's all there is to it. And while not everybody likes mine, that's cool. You don't have to. I appreciate you anyway. And I appreciate, anybody wants to comment, got anything to say, tell me I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Even better. That's all you got to do. But if it's an opinion, can you prove somebody wrong? There's a whole nother ball game. I absolutely dig how they are trying to utilize as many people as they can in 3 hours of television. They need to up their showtime. They need, in my opinion, 3 hours a week for all those belts on both shows. That ain't it. That ain't hitting on it. That ain't doing it for me. You've got too many belts on too little time on television. You could damn near book a title match for every match, and that could be your card every week. Wait, sounds like an indie show, doesn't it? Very, very curious, huh? That's what I thought. Very curious. Man, overall, though, not a bad week for pro wrestling, man. I heard the ratings were fantastic across the board for both shows, so kudos to all of them. Let's talk about we'll go ahead and speak on the big issue, man. CM Punk absolutely annihilating everybody on a microphone. Is he wrong? Is he right? I don't know. I wasn't there. Do I find it funny that he chose to do that? And it was weird how the conversation went, right? You have a journalist in there who I believe works for, I want to say, he works for some company. I can't remember what company he works for, but other people I know him. He's a nice guy, lives in Chicago, does a lot of wrestling writing. Cool. But Punk recognized him from somewhere. And when he realized that it was a dude who had done improv along with Colt, it's like, oh, here we go. And, then he started in on his rant, which buried Cabana. Not that he needed much help with burying him, Cabana. But then you go to him talking about the elite and him talking about how they aren't fit to run a target and how there's all these different facets that they're just messing up on. Why? What are you getting at? What's the point of this? That's one of those things where I say you keep that shit behind the curtain. You don't do it on media scrums. You don't do it, in public places. In this case, if that's what he wanted to do, okay, man, but you're going to have to pay for the results of your actions. He was injured anyway, so I guess they were going to pull the belt off him. Well, he got injured. No, he actually got injured after that. So that wouldn't have made any sense for that. But because he was injured, they just went ahead and stripped him too. I just don't think that stripping him was the right move. I don't think that going directly into uh, a tag match or a trios match to crown new champions was a smart move. I think I would have tried a way to make more money. Tried to find a way to make more money off of this instead, because I believe it's a business. Treat it like a business and make money in business. That's just me, though. I'm glad that you know, I'm glad that they're doing more with some of these other guys that we haven't seen too much of. You're starting to get a good mixed bag out of there. out of AEW. There's just a couple tweaks I think they make the adjustment on, and they won't be having any issues. Now, when you're talking about companies like the WWE and this new contract tampering rumor, let's go there real quick. If Hunter is a friend of, I don't care, Bobby Fish, and they're talking and they're having a conversation, and Hunter goes as far to say, well, uh, you know, we're just getting things going, just getting things ready, and somebody happens to bring it up, and it's just a passing conversation. I don't know if that's contract tampering, but that's me. I don't know if it's contract tampering or not. I feel like there's other entities involved. I think there's even some shit talkers and shit stirrers involved in this whole thing. And I feel like that also makes a huge difference in it. If if there's no actual proof of contract tampering, back your ass up, sit down, shut up. Who knows? That's not for us to know. That's not stuff that we have, working knowledge of. That's, speculation. It's been a rumor, but is it real? Is it accurate? Hmm. I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't tell you what was said or how it was said. Um, but overall, man, it wasn't a bad week for professional wrestling whatsoever. It was actually a pretty good week. Um, Man, I just don't know what else to talk about. We already, oh well, yeah, there was the actual All Out show. I didn't talk about that. That was, a whole week ago, and everybody knows about it. Um, you had the AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championship matchup. That was Tay and Sammy versus Ortiz and Ruby Soho. Of course, Anna Jay interferes again, and again outside interference and doing something with a match. Okay, did that. Tay Mello hit her with the Tay KO, and knocked her out and secured the victory for her team. You had Hook versus Cool Hand Angelo Parker. I don't understand what is up with these names. Cool Hand Angelo Parker, Daddy Magic, Matt Menard. Make it make sense. Hand Magic, is that, or Cool Daddy Hand Magic? I don't know. There's some things I guess you could do with their name and try to make something out of nothing, but who knows? Uh, see here. Of course, Hook took care of him relatively quickly, and got the victory there. You had the AEW All Atlantic Championship match, the Bastard Pac versus Kip Sabian. Pac won a pretty good contest there. Yet again, a little bit more flippy and high flying stuff than I care for, but not a bad matchup overall. You had Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston picked up the dub there. Great match for him. Uh, Definitely dug how it went down. I'm not sure if they're going to have Eddie go back and revisit the Sammy Guevara thing, or if they're just going to move on from there and not pay any more mind to it after they got into a little backstage tiff. The casino ladder match. This was weak. I did not enjoy it. This didn't feel like a ladder match, and it didn't feel like it was of any importance or significance. It I don't know if it was because of where it was at in the show or if it was just stuff went wrong in the ring. In my book, when you're talking about guys like Claudio and all that strength that he's got, the whole ladder spot with it tipping over and stuff, it was just like, guys, make it make sense. To me, it just felt bad. Um, Kenny Omega and the Elite had won the World Trios titles from Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order before being stripped the very next day. Yeah, Jade Cargill defeat the fallen goddess Athena. I legit thought that they were gonna have Athena go over here and pick up the dub on her way to becoming champion. And you know, I think that if they like her so much that they put her under contract, they must have an idea on how to use her and make it make sense. That's definitely something that we need. Then we had a 6-man tag, which was Wardlow and the FTR versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. Weird pairing for the opposing team here, Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. I guess their whole tie is that they were all Ring of Honor. I don't know. We got to make it make sense. But you had Wardlow and the FTR pick up the win there. Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs tore him out. He wrecked him. A massive spine buster was the final move for that matchup. That's weird. It's They also made it look like hopefully there's nothing wrong with it, but Ricky Starks acting like he was holding his neck and he just came back from a broken neck not too terribly long ago. Tag team matchup, in my opinion, was one of the matches of the entire night for AEW's All Out. Swerve and Our Glory versus the Acclaimed. I really thought they were going to give it to the Acclaimed, and I would have been A-okay with that. I feel like that's another team that's they are not starting to give me the warm and fuzzies where I want to see them, but I do believe that they are a good tag team. Fatal 4-way for the AEW Women's Interim World Title. Tony Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. I had to make sure I said her name right. I was like, I know her name, but I can't remember how to pronounce it. So I hope I did well with it. I would have either swapped out Britt Baker for Serena Deeb or Serena Deeb for one of the others. I would definitely have had her in this matchup. I probably would have even put the belt on her. But them having Tony Storm go over instead, hey, your company, you do what you want to do. Wasn't a bad matchup though. Fatal 4-ways are normally kind of clustery and clunky, but this one didn't feel too bad, and it wasn't bad at all. Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho. Uh, Jericho got the win here because Jericho hit Bryan Danielson with a low blow, then hit the Judas effect, and it was all she freaking wrote. The House of Black versus Darby Sting and Miro. Yet again, Darby Sting and Miro. Another odd couple pairing. I get what they're doing with it, but it's like, come on, man. Darby rolled up Malachi with the Last Supper and pinned him. So we got a schoolboy ending or a roll up ending on what really wasn't a bad matchup. Uh, then it was time for the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley versus CM Punk. Punk ended up getting the best of Mox in the end and won with the go to sleep. So Punk hit the GTS. Then he picked him up and did it again. I guess that was apropos after Mox did the two Northern Light suplexes or whatever that he did on him already, or that he did on him on the previous week's Dynamite, 10 days prior. I don't know, man. There's just a lot of stuff where it feels like I wish that match had have ended. I wish the night ended right there and we just didn't have any of the press conference stuff, because if you're not going to make money off of it, why are you going to do it? That's what doesn't work for me. I feel like having the ability to step up, step in, and do things is one thing. But now, after the match, after you won the title for the second time, you go out, you talk all that shit on the microphone, then you fell out with them in the backstage area, and ended up getting hurt, tearing your pec or tearing, whatever pectoral muscle or chest, any of that shit. When you tear that up, you're done. You're gone. What kind of a draw are you now? Now that you're hurt, make it make sense. Um, I don't know. It was not a bad pay per view. I watched most of that. Uh, but folks, I'm all out of reviews and stuff to talk about. I know we got an upcoming WWE show. I am hoping it's going to be I'm hoping it's going to be a really good show. Um, but you guys, you be sure to join me uh, next time, so that way we can try to figure out what's going on next, because this isn't doing anything but getting bigger and better. Uh, I was checking to see if there was a preview coming up for the the very next Monday Night Raw. They're talking about an open challenge coming to Raw this Monday. Who knows what that's about? Hopefully, it's going to be something good. Is Edge going to just openly challenge Dominic and try to, bust him up next? Is that the direction we're going? Bianca Belair issuing a was she issuing an open challenge, saying you want it, come get it? Is that what we're dealing with next, guys? Having surprises occur during the night is one thing, but having a card built where the crowd can be excited for the ad for the show should be more of a priority to me. Either way, like I said, it was a great week in professional wrestling. I hope this finds everyone well. Ladies and gentlemen, your man is tired. Your man is getting out of here. So it's been real. It's been fun. Hell yeah, y'all. It's been real fun. Thank you for tuning in. Thus proclaimed. Saint.